All right, so with quite a lot of younger drivers on the F1 grid, I thought it'd be funny to do like a fun style video just going over which F1 drivers, current F1 drivers, are actually on iRacing. And I think there's got to be more than you would think. And what if I told you one of these drivers I actually beat in a race recently on iRacing, and also one of these drivers gave credit to their best qualifying performances they've ever done to iRacing, to the way they would drive in iRacing. So it's very interesting, but let's take a little look. I think there's going to be more than you would think. So to start off, we have the classics. We have Max Verstappen. Max has two accounts. He's Maximilian Verstappen, which sometimes I follow. He's in some races and he's actually fairly active. We can check his last few races depending on what he's been doing. So here's Sports Car. The last race he's done was the 20th of December on this account. The Porsche Cup, Formula 4. So fairly active, we can assume. Max Verstappen is a fairly active account. He has over 5,000 I rating in road and 3.2k in Formula. Dear God, that means I'm 3.3k. I have more I rating than Max Verstappen in Formula. I've just discovered that there. Give me a minute. Right, the whole road now knows that I have more I rating than Max Verstappen in Formula on one of his accounts. So I'll take that. That's a win I'm going to take. And there's a few more wins coming, so don't go anywhere, okay? Now, next up is Max Verstappen. The OG account, his main account. I just knew it couldn't be that easy, huh? So he's almost 10k in road and Formula, absolutely demoralizing. Still, I have more I rating than one of Max Verstappen's accounts, so I'm going to clutch onto that for dear life. I don't think. Oh, this is actually quite active. So he's been doing Draft Masters, the GT Sprint, and IMSA, the Daytona 24. So kind of just pops in and out for little races here and there. I think some of this might be his teammates and stuff, because he does get his pals to do some I-rating grinding for him because he doesn't have the time to do it. I think it's more of a time thing than a skill thing. So yeah, they're Max's accounts. There's also one more that I know of. That's Jos Verstappen. That's his dad. Again, these accounts are pushing 9k. I'm not quite sure what this is for. I've seen that he's on this account more than his dad. So I'm not 1,000,000% sure what the crack is. Like if he's ever in an endurance race, this account is always in there, kind of like in a spectating role or something like that. So quite interesting. But yeah, so 3 accounts for Max Verstappen. Next up is Lando Norris. So Lando Norris is a very active iRacer. He comes on and off every now and again. Now, last time I raced him was probably, it was in sports car. No, it's not this recent. It was Porsche Cup. It's actually probably still hanging around here, is it? No, it's not in his recent races, but it was Porsche Cup on Mount Fuji. He lapped me, guys. I'm not going to lie. He lapped me. So, yeah, 7th of March, BMW M2, Renault Clio GR86. He was just jumping out for races, one after the other. So, fairly active, we're going to say Lando is. He does participate in events and stuff like that. He just likes a sim racing similar to Max. So, Lando Norris, he's been a member for 11 years. That's pretty cool. A fun fact about Lando Norris is he likes to make paints on iRacing, so, or on trading paints. So now they're a bit questionable, the paints. You know, he's doing his best out here, but if we click in here, I think we can see some of his paints. So here is his, please DM me for request of custom paint, junior karting European champion, 2013, youngest ever with karting, you know, all this stuff. This must be an old account. But here are some of his paints he's made. So he does like making some paints. That's pretty cool. There's loads of different style things, but yeah, Norris, painter. Next up is Mr. Kimi Antonelli. So Kimi Antonelli, funny about this one, I actually beat him in a race. It was at Imola, and he started a pole, and I think he was taking curbs a bit too hard or something, and he DNF'd. It was a very unextravagant way to finish a race, but I finished ahead of him. And then what one of the viewers let me know on the stream was, so I'm obviously like, I beat an F1 driver, meaning anyone he's beaten before, I'm technically better than. Go with me, sarcasm if you aren't able to comprehend it. But then someone from the stream let me know that I beat the guy that replaced the 7-time world champion. So in effect, I've beaten everyone Lewis has beaten. I think I might be stretching a little bit, but like life's too short not to stretch and be a boring. But yeah, so I beat the guy that replaced the 7-time world champion, Mr. Kimi Antonelli. He is very, very active on the service. He's 5 years on here. Which means he made this account when he was 2. No, I'm only messing. He's a bit older than that. If we check his stats out, though, his recent races, he is quite a regular. Actually, the last time he was racing here, these are these races here. This fixed race, I believe if I jump into this results, you'll see me. Let me make sure I'm not blocking the way. So I was in P4. No, this isn't the race. So here is the session that I beat Kimi Antonelli in. I'm up here in P4. He is all the way down here in P19. So yeah, so anyone that came above P19 that day has beaten a Formula 1 driver, and essentially the person who replaced the 7-time world champion, who also basically you've beaten everyone they've beaten, or no, not so much you've beaten, but like you're better than them, as only as a racer. But it's okay, he's young, he's inexperienced, he can work his way up. I seen him driving out today in Suzuka. He was good, but it's not quite P4 and Imola and Super Formula Lights fixed good. I'm such a troll. Next up, we have Fernando Alonso. So Alonso has quite the experience on iRacing. He is fairly active in the Formula Vs and the GT3s and stuff. So yeah, Alonso, he does like his bit of sim racing. He's fairly into it. He did partake in the 2020 COVID Le Mans series and stuff. I actually know one of the guys who coached him, funnily enough. And yeah, very, very interesting that he's on here too. The original Fernando Alonso with no number has just made the account and never really touched it. So he's the 6th one to come. Isaac Hadjar is also on here, 5k in both of these. We also have Liam Lawson, who is 3.5k in road and Formula. Looks like he hasn't really raced after the split, so his iRating split. So if any of these ratings look the same, it's because before a while everything on road was always the same, but then they made road cars and road Formula cars, so that's why there was a split at the time of iRating. So if we look in his stats here, he probably hasn't raced much at all apart from one Formula race, and which he lost a chunk of iRating. So Liam Lawson, yeah, what was his last race has he done? IndyCar, some of this stuff. But yeah, huge gap from 25 to 23. I guess he was busy racing real cars. Next up is Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz seems to have just done racing in 2020. If we check the stats here, a lot of racing during COVID, F3 and all that kind of fun stuff, some Mazdas and all this. But there's Chris Lullum, actually, funnily enough, in the Formula class. But if we look here, it's just the split. So the account hasn't really been touched. 2.4k iRating. I absolutely obliterate him in iRating. So sorry, Carlos. Hate to tell you, buddy. Next up is Ollie Behrman. So Ollie Behrman is the last driver I'm going to put in here. There's probably more, but to be honest, I think that's about it. There's also Oscar Piastri too. Ollie Behrman, he actually said that in Suzuka that during qualifying, he was trying to take the best line coming out of the last corner. He was hugging the wall. That's a very obvious thing. Anyone above 1800 iRating knows that on iRacing, because the delta is just so there in your face that if you hang left, you can see the time slipping out of your hands. Thus, when you come out of the last chicane in Suzuka, you hug the wall. But he said he was very surprised to see a lot of other drivers weren't actually doing that at all. Like they were just leaving time on the table. So he says that the iRacing line, he called it, helped him substantially get through into Q3. Now, I haven't been able to find the original source of that, but it kind of makes sense. He's a young buck. He's into sim racing. The last time he was on now was 7th of May 24. But again, he has been a very, very busy boy. So we'll leave it to him. But yeah, that's very interesting how iRacing can help someone in real life racing like that, the iRacing line. I know Max Verstappen has said many times that iRacing has played a big part in his success. He's not going to lie about it. The time that he puts into iRacing, he's able to transfer those skills over, lets him try different things that he can't necessarily try on a live track in real life. So very interesting to see Ollie Behrman saying those comments. And then last, we'll take a quick look at Oscar Piastri. Again, a similar thing with the split here. So he must have done very minimal racing. Let's see. Some races in 25, 2 in 24, and then 2023. So he's only really done Formula 4. Fair play to him. He won 2 of them and lost Boris. I've seen this person a few times, so that's quite the claim to fame to that person that they've beat them. But it's really cool in the service, basically, that you can race against real-life F1 drivers, because if there is a place that any motorsport people want to come to do fun circuit racing, iRacing is really it. I know some people go to a set of Corsa Competizione and stuff like that, but in general, if you want to find a lot of real life racing drivers and race with them in a very, very regular basis, including F2, F3, F4, and go-kart champions all over the world, you will find them on iRacing. And if you're lucky and you're quick enough, you'll be able to put the heat on them and really give them a serious testing. So yeah, very interesting video. Just flicking through all that stuff. I wanted to do it and then check that out in a while and maybe a few years, and then see who's on it then. But yeah, my claim to fame, I beat Kimi Antonelli. I beat the guy who replaced a 7-time world champion. That's what a viewer told me. I'm going to clutch onto that for the rest of my life. Guys, thanks for watching.